When you look around at your celebrity peers that are from Chicago, what is your opinion on what they're doing as far as using their celebrity status to give back to the youth here? There's a lot of violence. It's unfortunate that when you hear about Chicago in the news, a lot of times it's a new record of deaths, of murders. So I'm curious to know, what is your take on what other celebrities in Chicago are doing? Because I think that you are a great example of someone that's using your star power in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when you look at people like Derrick Rose, when you he gives back, often comes back to the community, and works with different community organizations to give back. When you look at people like Lupe, who has his own non-for-profit on the west side, where he and his sister do tremendous work for young people and team up with other organizations to give back. They're doing a great job. I think that when you look at someone like, let's say, Kanye, who does it in his own way, and what I would say is this: every rapper in Chicago that has any kind of notoriety has been helped out by Kanye at some point or another. Let's go through the list. Ones that have made it, and maybe who we may not have made it.
Okay.
We can go through the list. When you look at Twister, and Slow Jam's an overnight celebrity, resurrected his career.
Right.
If you look at After Electric Circus, and people were kind of down on Common, Kanye came and gave him the corners and did the B album, resurrected his career. When you look at Lupe, where was the first place we heard Lupe? I Gotta Testify. Come up in the club looking extra fly. To the day I die, I'm gonna touch the sky. So our introduction to Lupe was on a Kanye West album.
Okay.
And then you got Cook Push. Rhymefest, brand new. You know what I mean? So, man, Rhymefest. Then when you look at Chief Keef, King Louis, Bump J, like any artist who has basically been in the public eye has been given a boost by Kanye West. So I think sometimes when we think about how do you give back, everybody assumes it has to be in the same way.
Right.
Man, if you're not in the street helping shorties, or if you didn't give this amount of money to this type of program, or if I didn't see you, you're not giving back. We know that that's completely untrue.
Okay.
Everyone has their own way of contributing, and every way of contributing is equally important.
Right.
So I think that from Kanye to Lupe to Derrick Rose, even to Jennifer Hudson, which, there are things with Jennifer Hudson that I question, but whatever, you know what I mean? People look at Jennifer Hudson as a figure who has come and give back, I think that many of the artists have come back, and contributed. We have to inspire the new generation of artists to have a sense of philanthropy and a sense of duty, obligation to community. But the problem is, some of the new artists hate the communities that they're from.
Right.
So why would they go give back to something that has tormented them? And if your whole life is like, I'm trying to get out of this.
Right.
And a lot of times we separate the pain of others from what we feel.
So,
you know what I mean by that?
I do. What do you think, on that note, what do you think the issue is with Chicago youth? Why do you think it has gotten as bad as it has?
Two things. First is because nobody's addressing Chicago parents.
Okay.
So we can talk about youth. You can throw $50, $60 trillion at youth. But if you don't help their parents get mental help, job training, parental training, education, then nothing's going to happen with the children, because guess where they go home to? Ratchetness.
Right.
That's the first thing. The second thing is violence is sexy. So when you have violence, and when you have everybody talking about it and documentaries, it's about 100 documentary crews right now in Chicago. Ooh, let's talk about Chicago violence and see if we can get ours to be hottest on the, you have record labels coming in, ooh, the authentic black experience, and we can just find somebody who represents the violence and get their musical take on it, you know, and get their ratchetness. We can get an authentic black experience. What they think they putting their picture on what black is on us, you know.
Okay.
And you know, violence is sexy. Mm-hmm. There is money in poverty. Right. There is money in violence. And all of the parasites are eating away at it. Mm-hmm. So what does it do? It fuels it. Okay. Because it makes it like, now, everybody turned up. Like, yeah, man, you know, niggas killing Chirac, nigga. Right. Like, you know what I mean? And so you're fueling it because they're saying opportunity within violence. Right.
I never looked at it like that. I did not, but I definitely agree with what you're saying. And it's very unfortunate that has gotten to that point. Do you think, now that you have had, and maybe saying the best of both worlds isn't correct, but I'll say it, the best of both worlds, hip hop and politics, do they actually mix? Is it hard to be an artist and be in politics? Are you taken seriously, or does it? What kind of advantages are there? Are there any?
You know, I wasn't taken seriously at first. The big thing was, but they do work in tandem because politicians aren't really taken seriously. Okay. You know, and so I knew how to handle that. Like, the thing is, rappers are put in a space that to be successful as a rapper, you cannot talk about anything that really progresses your community. Right. And so people try to peg me as an average rapper. And that's when the generational disconnection had to be connected. And I had to let them know, no, I'm in the vein of Common, Talib, Mos Def, like, I'm in Dead Prayers. I'm in that vein. You can't paint me like Lil Wayne. Okay. And they were like, well, why not? I'm like, well, have you ever heard Lil Wayne's song? Well, have you ever heard a Rhymefest song? Well, what are you talking about? And then they're like, now the conversation.